I spend more on basics. If you're strong on basics, and your next level will be very easy. So all the methods, till methods, you listen every day one video. Spend some time. And make a notes on your own notes. That is also important. That really helps you to speed up learning the process. Okay. Last one, very important topic. So for each loop, we have seen for loop, we have seen while loop, do while loop. Now we need to see for each loop. When you can use for each loop? For each loop mainly used for arrays and collections. It iterates the elements in forward direction. So in forward direction, the elements will be iterated. No in reverse direction. You cannot iterate with a for each loop in reverse direction. But if the normal for loop, you can iterate in reverse direction and forward direction. But with for each loop or advanced for loop, we call this. It's not possible. Only one direction you can iterate. So the syntax of for each loop is for bracket, data type of your array and your collection. So what is the data type of your array and your collection? That you need to give first. Then some variable name, colon, then give the array name or collection name. So this variable name represents the each element of this array or collection. So that's why it got a name for each element of the array, for each element of the collection. Sir, each element you are telling array is going to have more? Yes. Collection is going to have more? Yes. Till now you have seen variables. Only one value will be there. But whereas in arrays, you are going to have more values. So that's what we are going to discuss here. Okay. So that's the for each loop syntax. And so let's move on to the next topic, arrays. So arrays is a static data structure. Sir, what is data structure? Arranging your data in a proper order, in a proper format. So that is called data structure. But array is one of the data structure. It is a static data structure. So static means what? It doesn't change, right? That's a static. So arrays contains fixed number of values of single type, single data type elements, but multiple. Sir, I can store with the variable, right? Why you are using again array? Variable, you can store only one value. But in the array, if I want to store 10 integers, I can store 10 integers in one object only. That saves time for me and memory also, right? That's why array is very, very easy to store and many values. So a group of objects or a group of similar type of elements, similar data type elements. If you want to store, you need to use an array. Fixed size also fixed. So you need to tell initially itself. Okay, I want array of 5 number size. Then only 5 elements you can store in that array. Or I want a string type, 10 elements. Only 10 string values you can store in that string array. The length is, you're going to fix it in advance. That's why it is a static. Single data type, fixed array, fixed size. So that's the array means. So to create an array, first you have to declare array variable. So you have to declare array variable. And then right hand side, you create an array object. Later, you can assign the values or later time, or you can assign values also directly. So array means a collection of elements or values, each identified by an array index or a key. Each value is identified by index. This is called index. Your array first element index starts with a 0. The first element index is always 0 only. So first element index is 0. So this doesn't change, index doesn't change, but this value will change every time. Value can be dynamic, but index is not dynamic. Index is static. The first element means the index number is 0. Second element means index number is 1. Third element means index number 2. Fourth element index number 3. Fifth element index number 4. Sixth element index number 5. Seventh element index number 6. Eighth element index number 7. Sir, you are telling 8, but you are saying 7th index. What is this? Did anybody got this here? Why you are getting 8th element index is a 7?
Because we are starting with 0.
Yeah, it's starting with 0. Excellent. Because you have to count this element also. Always total size minus 1. That's the last element index. If you want the last element index, simply do minus 1. The total size of your array, minus 1 if you do, you will get a last element index. So the last element index formula is array.length minus 1. That's the formula. Always you have to write this formula only. Don't hard code. So here, this is the 8, right? So last element index, if I want, I should not write 7 now. What I will write here is, if you want this last element, I will write array.length minus 1 over. I'm making a dynamic, right? So that's what the always formulas you need to remember. Don't hard code. Okay. For example, if you want to store the names of 100 people, then we can create an array of the string type that can store 100 names. See that? Data type. This is the array symbol, the square brackets. So wherever you see a square brackets, that's an array symbol. It's an array. Yes, the indication is array. Not only here, anywhere in the JSON or any JSON format or anywhere you see the square bracket, that's an array. So array name equal to new string. This is an object, right? And square bracket 100 is the size. That means this array can store 100 string values. What is the last element index? Can you tell me here?
90.
Just now I told, again you are coming back.
99.
No, you should not tell that. What I told you.
N minus 1.
Array dot length minus 1 you have to say always. So if last element index means you should say array dot length minus 1. Automatically it will calculate. You should not tell. Tomorrow I will change it to 200. Then it will be 99 only. You should not hard code like that. So you have to say array dot length minus 1. What is the first element index?
Array dot length of 0.
No, that is not one. Just 0. Index is 0.
Just 0.
0 is the index. That's it.
That confused. 0.
Okay. So this is the always size is fixed. Okay. So what are the advantages? Code optimization. You don't need to write a variables like 100 variables. You don't need to write. Right? 100 string variables. You don't need to declare. Just one array, and you can assign all the values. So that's the code optimization you can achieve with this array concept. Random access, you can access anywhere. For example, I want to access this -45. I can just give array name of this index number. Array name square bracket 4, and I'll get automatically this value. I'm not directly writing. So how can you access array elements? Array name square bracket the index number. How can you access the array elements? Array name square bracket index of that value. So how can you access this 0?
Array name
can you
square
access-
brackets 5.
Array name square bracket 5. That's it. How can you access this 5?
Array name square
Array
bracket.
name square bracket 6.
How can you access this one?
7.
Array name brackets
Bracket
7.
7.
Hmm?
Array name square bracket 7.
Just now I told again you're.
Array
I don't
name
know why you're
length.
missing.
Length minus.
Array name of array dot length -1 you have to write.
Okay, okay. The formula.
Formula, sir, always formula. Last element index means always formula use. Array square bracket, array name dot length -1. That's the last element index, right? So you have to tell that one only. Okay. So I have covered here how to access array elements, how to get the last element index, how to get the first element. How to access the first element? Can you tell me?
By
Of
using 0
array
index.
of players.
Array of 0. No, I'm asking how, I'm not asking index, I'm asking how to access array first element. That's my question. Then your answer should be array name of
Array name
0.
of square bracket 0.
Accessing or getting means you're fetching that value from the memory. So that memory index you have to pass array name square bracket 0. That's always first element formula. Last element means always you have to write array name square bracket array dot length -1. That's the last element index. You should not tell 7 or all those things. How can you fetch last element means what you need to write? Array of array name dot length -1. Clear?
Yes, Ramesh.
Alright.
These are the basics. Listen n number of times or note down. So that will really help you in the coding because we are writing so many array programs here. We're going to spend a lot of time on the array programs. Okay. So next, randomly why you can access is because of index. So it's a very fast data structure and easy to implement and use it. That's why it is so very useful. But disadvantage is size limit. So we can store only fixed size of elements in there. You cannot grow the array size at runtime. You cannot increase. For example, you created array size 5. At runtime, you cannot put a 6th element in the array. Max, you can put 5 elements only. Then what should we do if I want to do that? Don't use array. There is a dynamic size increase and decrease option in the collections. So collection topic will help you there if you want that dynamic. So that's what I was telling here. Okay. That's all about advantages and disadvantages and how to declare array in Java. So this is the one. Data type, square bracket, array name. This is the declaration. See, be careful here. How to declare a variable, how to declare an array, how to assign a value is different again. Just a declaration of the array. This is the syntax. So data type can be a primitive data type or non-primitive data types. Java objects also like string or any kind of things. Array name is just the names are always you call them in the Java identifiers. Identifier means a name of the variable, name of the class, name of the array. Anything name you are specifying, that is called identifier. Right? So now here double square bracket data. So what is this data?
Double data.
Array name.
Array name. Data is the array name, sir. It very clearly is there, sir. This one I'm just showing here and I'm asking this one. Data is an array name.
Array name. Okay.
And data array name data type is a double data.
Double data.
So data is an array
Mhm.
that can hold type of a double
Double.
data. So now what about this? So what is this list?
It's array name.
Array name. And what is the type of this? What type of data you can store in the list?
Integer.
Integer. So what about fruits? What type of data you can store?
Array name with string.
So fruits is the array name and string is the type of the data you can store fruits. So boxes is the array name and the rectangle is the type.
Type.
So, but how many elements can array hold? So you will give that array size. Okay. So while creating, you will give. So to define the number of elements that array can hold, we have to allocate a memory for the array. That's what this one. The assignment operator, new double 10. Now how many elements you can store in this data array? 10 elements you can store in this data array. So this is the one you can do like this, or you can do like this also. This is the one way. And see, I am not again declaring here a data type again in the second line, because I already declared. Now here what I am doing here in this second line, I am assigning an object to that data array. So creating an array is this is the too many ways you can create. So data type square bracket array name equal to new data type size. Another way is a data type array name square bracket new data type size. So data type array name square bracket new data type, and you can mention all the elements. So directly you are mentioning the array elements, but here you are not giving array element, you are just creating, but you have to store the array elements by different ways. I'll show you that how to assign the values. Now here you are assigning the values directly to this array. So this is the new int 10, new string 5, new rectangle 4. This is all you are assigning the 4 boxes you can store here. 5 fruits you can store in this array. 10 integer values you can store in this list array. See, this is the one. Another one, int marks equal to new int 5. So that means, see, 5 means, see, the first index, always 0. The last index will be, I have to tell marks dot length -1. Then you'll get a 4. So that's the how you can assign the values. See this? So A is the reference variable. So that will store in the reference variables. It will store always in the stack memory, right? And so this object will store in the, this is the object, right hand side one. It will store in the heap memory. So this is the heap memory for this. And this memory address will store in this A reference variable. So that's a stack memory. So this very clearly showing again here also, once again, memories, stack and heap. Objects will store in the heap memory. The references and local data will store in the stack memory. How to initialize the arrays in Java? So this is the one, double square bracket prices equal to, so this is the values you are storing. You can store the values. So 10.5, 20.1, 14, 39, these are all the So values, so this array contains. So same way, int A is array name and all array values directly. This is how you can assign values directly, instead of again creating a array and later assigning. And this is the one another way to initialize your array. So that means assigning your array with values. This is also valid. So otherwise you can declare, first you can declare and assign, create an array object, then you can assign the value. See, is of 0, so 12, is of 1, 4, is of 2, 5, is of 3, another element, is of 4, that's the last. So you can assign the values. So this is the one, is of 0 means 12, is of 1 means 4 you will get, is of array name of index, right? These are all array name of index, array name of index. So that's how it will store in the memory. So in this heap memory, this is how the values will store here. These are all indexes. The first element always will be in 0 index. The last element you have to use formula array square bracket array name dot length minus 1. Okay. And yeah, we covered all this. And how to access elements, I told you already. Array name of index. I covered, again I'm covering one more. See here, 12, 4, 5, 2, 5. Array first element, array name of 0. Array second element, array name of 1. Array third element, array name of 2. Array fourth element, array name of 3. Array fifth, last element. So you can write formula instead of this one, okay? That's what we are going to do that, because loop I'm going to use there. And this the another one. So initialization and 10 elements you can store, and array of 0, this is the initialization of first element, initialization of second, and so forth. All the elements, this is how you can assign the values for each index, the values. Then you can use instead of print. See, this many print statement, if you want to use, that's a lengthy code, right? And easily once you assign the values, you just use the for loop. Either for loop or for each loop you can use to iterate your array. So how can you iterate your array? So which loops you need to use? Either for each loop or for loop. So simple, you can finish it. So these many print statements you don't need to write. Always your array starts your initialization, array initialization. So the for loop inside you have initialization, right? First part, that is 0 always. And the condition place you have to write length minus array dot length you can write, or array dot length minus 1 you can write. It all depends on less than or equal to which one you are using. If you use less than, use array dot length. If you use last element index, if you want to use, you have to use less than or equal to. So I less than or equal to array dot length minus 1. Or you can write a condition another way, I less than array dot length. Suppose length is 5, and you can just, it will check 5 before only, because 0 to 4 only it will check. If you write I less than or equal to array dot length minus 1, array dot length is 5, 5 minus 1, 4. So equal to means 4 also will be considered. So this is how the logics you need to remember there. Okay, so these are all. We'll write the program tomorrow. Okay, and so all this I covered here already. Array dot length, so which returns a integer value. Length is a instance variable. It's an instance variable, and you can use that array name dot length. See, how can you get the last element index? I covered here array dot length minus 1. How can you access array element? Array name of index. So let's cover this quickly and we can close. Array index out of bounds exception. When you will get array index out of bounds exception? So array negative array size exception when you will get. So these two are very, 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 very important, these interview questions. So when you will get array index out of bounds exception. So if you index value given as a negative, then system will throw array index out of bounds exception. If we enter or insert an element at wrong index, or you are accessing the more than the size of the array index, then you will get array index out of bounds exception class. This is the exception class name. This is the runtime exception class name. I'm going to cover again in the exceptions, but I'm giving in advance because we got in the array topic. So if array size is 0, you're trying to access array elements, then also your system will throw array index out of bounds exception. These are the 3 reasons you must know. If you know these points, then you can easily solve your coding issue. If you don't know these points, you can not solve that when you get a array index out of bounds exception. Then you have to dig out a lot in the Google. Why you will get array index out of bounds exception. So understand carefully. All these 3 reasons will cause the array index out of bounds exception. When you will get a negative array size exception, I'll show you all this practically, okay? If you provide array length as a negative, then the system will throw at runtime negative array size exception. Compile time, you won't get any issue. But the runtime, once you run the program, that time, if you give a array size, this is a negative value, instead of positive, you give a negative value here, then it will throw negative array size exception. Okay. Yeah, so these are all. So I'll explain tomorrow this coding. Okay, how to loop the arrays. Looping is just with a for each loop and with a normal for loop. So you can do, these are the 2 ways you can print the array. I'll show you tomorrow. Okay, any questions?